Welcome back to the channel. On today's video I'm going to be covering off what I would count as the ultimate tablet holder. This is a sponsored video by RAM Mounts. They've been kind enough to send me out a selection of items which can enable us to hold the tablet that we use here in the back of the van. Let's have a look in the bag and see what they've sent us. And here we have all the parts laid out. At the bottom here we have the track. On the right hand side we have the ball that connects into the track. We have the extending arm, and we have the second ball which goes onto the tablet holder, and then we've got the tablet holder itself. This is one of the tablet holders I currently have in the van. We use this predominantly when we're at shows. I mount the tablet in here so I can change the music or put movies on, etc. It fixed into the headrest. It's okay. It's fairly sturdy, all things considered. However, it's a bit awkward when you're sitting down kind of eating food, or you want to watch it while sat at the table, which is just right here. This area here is perfect for where I want to mount the tablet. It's above the kitchen area, so if we are cooking here, etc., it's not a major issue. We can mount the tablet up here. The idea is that the rail will come down here, and I can change the angle accordingly to how I want to view it, and I can watch it from the table. Let's take a look at each of the components. First off, the rail. We've got the rail itself. End cap. Instructions. A little catalogue. And a blanking plate. What you can do on the end here is you can either put on the end like so, or you can change it over and you can just put a straightforward flat blanking plate on the end, and it just pushes all the way on. I'm going to go with this version so I can fix it top and bottom, because we are mounting it in a vertical fashion. Next up is the ball mount, which goes into the rail to connect the arm to. Now you will notice it says wheelchair track base. The reason why it says that, it's designed to be a lot more heavy duty, and it's a metal ball rather than a composite ball. With the fact that I'm putting a tablet on it, on a long arm, I wanted to make sure this definitely wasn't going to snap, because this would be the weak point if there was going to be any. So there's absolutely no chance this is going to break off. So first off, we've got the ball. We've got the fixings which slot within the rail. Another little RAM catalogue, and then the instructions of how to put it into the rail. Due to this unit being able to be used on multiple devices, namely things like wheelchairs, it does come with a selection of fittings. I've left the remaining fittings that we don't require in the bag here, because the only ones we do require are these two larger screws and these two backing plates. To assemble this unit is quite simple. Go to the main unit, pop the screw through, grab the little plate. It does have threads inside it. Wind it on just a couple of threads just so it holds on the screw, and then repeat for the other side. And there we have it. These screws you can tighten up later with a screwdriver. Now that we have both plates secured on the back, it's just a case of sliding it into the rail. Put one piece in first, slide it along, the second piece drops in, and slide it along. Then it's a case of just doing the two screws down in the desired place. Before we do this, we do need to fix the bracket to the wall. The next piece to put together will be the actual tablet holder itself, as well as its corresponding mounting bracket. So let's go through the components we have. In the middle, we've got the backing plate, which is the spring-loaded part of the mechanism. Either side, we've got the end plates, which screw together with this to hold the tablet in place. On the bottom part here, you can see there's some screw holes. They line up, and then this is screwed onto here to hold it in place. There are little lugs which also correspond with each of the holes that are on the bottom here. In the middle you'll see there's a fixing point which lines up with the back here, and this is where the ball fits on the back to enable you to fix it to the arm. And then lastly, a box of fixings to put it all together. I've now taken the fixings all out of their bags. So I have 5 screws for one end, 5 screws for the other end. At the top here we have 4 nuts and 8 bolts, which are in 2 different lengths. I'm going to use the longer ones. Although the short ones look like they will fit, I'd much rather put the longer ones in and know that I've definitely managed to pick up the thread before I start doing down the nut. When it comes to mounting the ball on the back of the plate, there are multiple configurations and rotation of which you can actually set it, and it will line up accordingly. It's just simply a case of rotating the mount around until you find where all the holes line up, and there we go, that lines up quite nicely. The bolts go through from the back through to the front, and then it's simply a case of there's a nut will drop into the frame and you do the bolt up. Now to repeat the process, I'm just going to this time drop the nut into place, put my finger over it, roll the frame over, grab the next screw and just make it so it grabs the nut, not worry too much about doing it up tight quite yet, and then repeat the process for the other 2 holes. Now it's just a case of tightening down with a screwdriver. For the next part I'm going to be switching over to a PH0 screw head. That's what's required for these little screws here. All I'm going to do, just pop it in the top there, and just screw it down. And that's the first side completed. It is very secure on there, quite happy with that. Time to repeat for the other end. And here we have the assembled holder to carry the tablet. Let's connect it to the arm. Again, I've gone with a metal arm just to guarantee that extra bit of strength for holding up a 10-inch tablet. This is very, very solid. I've now taken the rail and mounted it to the end of the cupboard. I've made it so that I can put the screws through and pick it up on the beading that's sitting behind the front panel here. First thing I'm going to do is mark out all of the holes, and then I'm going to pilot drill them, followed by screwing them in. By making the very minor pilot holes, it enables me not to damage the front surface and also get as much purchase on the wood as I can behind with the screws. For screwing in, I'm going to start with the middle screw . We can now take the sporting ball and just slot that into place. If I grab a screwdriver, now that that's secured in place, simple case of just adding on the tablet holder, and there we go, the unit's held in place. It is very, very sturdy. You can adjust it on the back to move it up and down, or adjust the angle you want to view it at, but it is really, really solid. When you press on any of the buttons, the tablet doesn't move, so it actually responds. Quite often with a touchscreen you don't end up getting the full touch on it because it ends up moving around as you're trying to do it in the holder, but that does not happen. This is absolutely solid. So all in all, an amazing holder. And when not in use, I can simply just fold it away or undo this and remove it entirely. This way it can be placed somewhere else in the van if required. I've now completed the install into the back of the van. It's time to update what we've got in the front. Let me show you what I've currently got in place. So this is the front of the van currently. We've got a GoPro mount and we've got the existing mount for the tablet. Whilst this has been pretty good, it's now not working as it once did, so it's time to replace it. Hence we're putting in the RAM mount. So what I need to do now is take this off, remove the disc, and then mount the rail across here. Now I've managed to clean all the surface off. Look behind, there's a folding mechanism here. I've got to avoid this part just here. So I'm going to put the bar on about here so that it sits and misses all of the workings underneath, so I can still open this up should I really want to. Just like the back of the van, I've got another bar. This time it's a shorter bar. It's the 5-inch bar which will fit across here. As I say, I've got to move it just up a tiny bit to about there, which will enable me then to miss the mechanism underneath. In order to get it square, firstly I'm just going to hold this in place, line up with the mechanism behind so I know roughly the height I need to be at. That will enable me then to just mark the middle hole. Like so. What I'll then want to do is take a tape measure, measure across and get my dead centre line. That way I know this will be in the centre. Just going to drill it out with a very small drill. Now I've got a good clear hole. I'm going to take a wood screw bit that's countersunk head on it, which will enable the bar to move over. It's the same as what I used in the back. I'm just going to fix the first one in place. And the mechanism still closes just fine. So just slide the twins back on. There we go. And there's the front rail fixed into place. That's the ball secured into place. Just a case of putting the mount on. Tightening up. And simply adding the tablet. And I can just easily adjust it. To where we want it. This is the configuration at the back of the van. You can see the unit that I've currently got in place. Whilst it's done a half decent job, it is starting to show signs of wear. So it's time to swap it out for a RAM mount. Because in this scenario, unlike at the front of the van, there is the top of the door area there, which stops this from going all the way up. So remove the cap and they supply you with these blanking caps. I'll put that on there, like that. Just push it on. And there we go. And now I can fix that up in place as required. There we go, the unit's now in place. And just a case of pull on this side to enable to add the tablet. In the description, I've left a link to all the items that we used in this video. Also, there is a discount code there for you to use should you wish to purchase your own RAM mount. Thank you very much for watching. If you do have any questions or comments, please do leave them below. Don't forget to hit the like button, also the subscribe button and the notification bell to hear when the next video goes live. See you in the next video.